I'm Rich Make.
I'm Margie Reedy.
These are the stories breaking tonight. A neighborhood landing for a huge chunk of a plane.
This woman talks about a crash that sends her flying.
An obsessed fan barricaded in an actress's home.
Now, from Michigan's best news team, this is Newsbeat.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rich Make with Margie Reedy. Mort and Carmen have the night off. People living in the suburbs sometimes feel insulated from the dangers of the world around them, but not true tonight for two Farmington Hills families. A dangerous reality literally came crashing down on them. A piece of an aircraft broke off a plane and plummeted to the ground from a jet 30,000 feet above. Take a look at what dropped in. A giant chunk, a part of an engine, falling just feet from two houses and from two families enjoying a quiet evening watching TV. We have two reports tonight. We begin with Newsbeat's Dennis Edwards in the neighborhood. Dennis, the most important question, was anybody hurt out there?
No one was hurt, and there are a lot of people, Rich, out here on Sky Drive simply counting their blessings. The house you see here behind me is the Hendo home. About 50 feet away, you'll find the Merrill home. Right between the two, an equal distance between the two, is where the part fell. The only thing you can see here now are 3 holes left, and that is the only damage this thing did to this neighborhood.
Appears to be the tail cone of an engine. The exhaust gases go around it.
What would cause something like this to come off of the plane?
A fracture, a break.
Federal Aviation Administration inspectors had their hands full trying to take the aircraft engine part away. The cone-shaped metal cylinder is at least 4 feet long and 3 feet wide.
It's not the first time parts have come off. No.
All right.
It's rare.
But it is the first time Colleen Hendo's families found part of an aircraft exhaust system near their backyard. This adventure started last night for the Hendo family.
I heard like an explosion, and my dad was upstairs and I was downstairs, and he came to ask me what it was, and I said I thought it was upstairs. I thought something fell in the house.
Hendo's father called police and looked around the yard, but it was too dark to see anything. When Colleen got up this morning, the aircraft part was sitting on the ground, nestled near these trees between her house and Carol Merrill's home.
I thought it was a rocket. And then we looked close and it was empty, so we realized it was something from an airplane.
Since there were no injuries or damages, Merrill says she's not angry, but she does believe the airline industry is having more than its share of accidents. What do you think? I guess you guys feel lucky.
We certainly do, you know. We're lucky for our neighbors and ourselves.
Yes, very lucky, and glad for my neighbors it didn't hit anything.
The folks in this neighborhood also feel the people on board the plane which lost that part are lucky as well. They believe it is a good thing to know at this point that these people were able to continue their flight, and this part did not cause a major accident for that plane. Rich?
I can see how that would send a chill up your spine. How's it affecting other people in the neighborhood?
Well, a lot of folks are coming by. This is quite a spot, you could say, in the neighborhood. People are coming by taking a look. Most of them are surprised, shocked to some degree, but they're not totally surprised to know that something like this happened. Rich?
Yeah, I can imagine. All right, Dennis, thanks very much.
Well, 2 questions are still being asked tonight. Where did that chunk come from, and how did it break off? Federal Aviation Administration investigators suspect the piece fell from a British Airways jet traveling thousands of feet above Farmington Hills. News Force Chris Hansen has that part of the story.
The engine tail cone that fell from some 30,000 feet into a Farmington Hills backyard now sits at FAA offices in Belleville. It's not confirmed yet, but investigators believe it fell from a British Airways 747. Flight number 296 to be exact, flying last night from Chicago to London's Heathrow Airport. After the jet landed, the crew noticed the part was missing. The tail cone, as FAA investigators are now calling it, apparently acts to funnel air smoothly out of the engine. Losing a tail cone could make the engine louder, could make it use more fuel, or perhaps could make the engine run a little hotter. But typically, losing such an item would not have a disastrous effect on a plane. This is what the engine tail cone looks like when it's in place. Investigators aren't sure yet how the part came off, but it is exposed to intense heat, and it's possible the metal finally stressed out and tore away. FAA investigators won't comment on camera until the investigation is completed, but they say the route Flight 296 was taking is a common one for jets flying east from Chicago. While the part weighs only about 100 pounds, falling from 30,000 feet, it's amazing there were no injuries or serious damage. Late this afternoon, British Airways officials came to take a look at the jet part here at the FAA offices. They should be able to tell within the next 12 to 24 hours whether or not for sure it came from their jet. In Belleville, I'm Chris Hansen, Newsbeat.
A British Airways spokesman says at no time was the flight in danger. In fact, the crew did not even notice the part was missing until its post-flight check in London. There's a serious threat facing planes coming and going from the Pontiac Oakland Airport tonight: seagulls. The birds are feasting on garbage at the nearby Waterford Hills landfill and flying into the paths of planes. Airport officials say the number of bird-plane collisions is rising every year. Pilots are also complaining about the problem.
The dangerous combination of children and guns has again resulted in tragedy in Detroit. An 11-year-old is in serious condition after being shot. First reports said the youngster was shot on the way to school, but there is some strange twist to this developing story. Newsbeat's Ned McGrath is in the newsroom now with the very latest. Ned?
Rich, sometimes reporters, present company included, have to think like detectives. It happened to me this morning on Detroit's Lower East Side, Newport. What you're about to see is a kid shooting kid story unfold. Perhaps I should say unravel.
So when I was at the table in the dining room, I heard a gunshot. So I came out, and he was laying right there. And so I took him to my house for a minute, and then I took him home.
The boy that was shot?
Yeah, the boy was shot.
Carried him home?
Yeah.
Where was he shot?
Right above the, below the neck.
Wait a minute, you picked him up and carried him over to his house?
That was the story told to News 4 in interview number 1 with Willis Cottrell. He told the same thing to the police. Listen closely to some of the extra information Cottrell volunteers.
Probably by just playing with a gun around here and shot him.
In other words, an accident. How could someone inside the house suspect an accident outside? How could that same person know the caliber weapon?
It was just like 2.2 or 2.5.
As police knocked on doors in the neighborhood, interview number 2 with Willis Cottrell.
You know who shot him? You have some idea?
No.
You talk to the police now. I mean, your
see
story
him,
changing a little bit or what?
No,
you know,
fine.
But you know what kind of gun was used?
It sounded like a 2.2 or 2.5.
Sounded like it.
Yeah.
You didn't see the gun?
Nope.
Didn't see anybody run?
No.
But now the squeeze was on. The cops picked up a teenager 1 block away for questioning, the theory being that the victim was not shot on his way to school. Interview number 3.
What about the possibility that the shooting happens inside and not outside?
Would you say that again?
What about the possibility here that the shooting happens inside and not outside?
I don't know.
During News 4 at noon, interview number 4. Sort of.
He ain't got nothing to say.
He's got nothing to say? Well, he wasn't Willis Cottrell in police custody, followed by an explanation from the suspect's mother.
Picked it up and it went off and it shot the little boy in the chest.
So your son, the gun was in your son's hand?
My son finally told the truth.
Apparently the gun casings inside the house had a little something to do with the suspect changing his story as well. These 2 kids were friends. At the moment, police are treating this as an accident. Kids shooting kids. Rich?
All right, Ned, thanks very much. The suspect is being held at the Wayne County Youth Home pending further investigation and the condition of the shooting victim. Margie?
A very frightening situation today at the home of actress Sharon Gless, known for her role on Cagney and Lacey. An obsessed fan barricaded herself in Gless's house early this morning, armed with a semi-automatic rifle. Joni Lee Penn came out of the house in Studio City, California, just a short time ago. Gless was not home during the incident. Police aren't sure if Penn intended to harm Sharon Gless. In 1988, a judge ordered Penn to stay away from the actress and her family. There's been more violence in the nearly month-old Greyhound strike. The striking driver was hit by a bus while he was leaving New York City's main terminal. He was not seriously hurt. And there was some trouble at the downtown Greyhound terminal today. Members of the AFL-CIO joined striking drivers to protest, but got upset when a dissident union worker tried to express his point of view.
Can I get some help over here? Hey, don't hit the camera, guys. Was I in somebody's way?
A Free Press photographer was also shoved. No one was hurt. Greyhound and striking workers are scheduled to resume contract talks on Monday.
Well, things are hopefully a little calmer in Chuck Gaetica's first forecast today.
No doubt. He joins us from neighborhood weather from the Thanksgiving Day Parade studios in Detroit. Where else, Chuck?
Well, this is the Parade Company warehouse where they keep all the floats and balloons and all the stuff that you will see in the Thanksgiving Day Parade. This is one of the big floats that will parade down Woodward Avenue. And right here, a balloon that they're inflating for us. is actually being inflated right now, and when we come back around 5:30, you'll be able to see what it looks like in its full size. They're going to be having a fundraiser here tomorrow night. We'll be talking about that. All the proceeds will be benefiting the Thanksgiving Day Parade, so you might want to have a pencil and paper handy in case you want something to do on a Saturday night. Let's talk a little weather biz outside there today. We are looking at a cloudy day. We've had some rain around town, and temperatures are on the mild side. Right now we're cloudy, 50 degrees, 86% the humidity. Barometer right now is rising at 30.01, and the winds are blowing out of the north at 10 miles per hour. Satellite picture shows we've got the clouds, some fair sky to the north. Nighttime lows for us, quite balmy. We'll be dropping down tonight, it looks like, right down into the 40s, so not very far, 30s to the north. And again, when we come back, we'll be talking more about what's going on out here at the Parade Company, a big April Fool's party. And now the forecast for this evening, fog and drizzle. As a matter of fact, a dense fog advisory has been issued. Temps gradually settling down through the 40s. So Rich, Margie, that's it from here for now. I'm going to have fun and be a kid in Toyland for just a little while. Back to you.
Okay, boy, you really have people confused. Here it is, spring is at the Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that's
Jeff.
right. We'll get it all straightened out, though. The News 4 team is following several stories right now that you'll be seeing very soon.
Emery King is back in our newsroom with a look at what's coming on News 4 at 5:30. Emery?
Well, one of those stories is a state-of-the-art manufacturing lab. Police say they found one out in Lapeer today. And in Detroit, it was Superintendent John Porter updating students about his plans and programs. All of that and more coming up for you today at 5:30.
All right, and there is still more to come in this half hour. We're going to tell you about a bizarre computer problem that had the People Mover running backwards.
Also ahead?
That's it. I can't remember. I was passed out at the time.
This woman talks about what she does remember about a harrowing trip through a windshield. And just over 24 hours left to stake your claim in the giant lotto jackpot.